Hello, everybody. My name is Eric Leigh-Pink. This is Eric's Premonitions at worldwidepredictions.com. Well, I know it's Super Bowl, but we're going to go ahead and move forward with our world predictions here. We have several new world predictions that we need to go over. A wonderful divine message at the beginning. And then we're going to have to probably skip our plans to talk about the devil's plan. We're going to have to push that back. But for now, I have another beautiful story for you to share. Let's start with humanity's... Hello. Let's start with humanity's fate. Think about that. Oh, so I hope it's not bad news. By the Spirit, Mika. Spice, salt, pepper, cinnamon, thyme. None of them fit. All of them stuck on this one blue little plate. Crushed together, pushed together. They don't combine. They don't match. They don't mix well. This is you, humanity. All stuck on your little planet. Right? Not combining, not clicking with one another, not connecting with one another the way you should. And why would you? One of you's pepper, the other one's salt. One of you's thyme, the other one's cinnamon. How does any of that match? But allow me to predict. As the spices go into the endless cosmos of the universe, the soup of all things, it's just like any other soup. It slowly melts. It turns into something. And suddenly humanity, you have a flavor. You taste divine. Your true purpose found in the cosmos. The fate of humanity. Okay. Let's get back to the bad news. Coming back to today. I had a vision. I was going to sleep. And this voice comes up. Attack! 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 Okay. Thank you. I'm going to go back to bed now. Thank you. Now, it's normal. I mean, I'm always getting messages. I'm just like, I'll just put that in my back pocket. Thank you very much. And I went to bed, and the minute I closed my eyes, fell asleep, there was a clock in front of me, and there's no clock. But all of a sudden, there was this old-style, 80s-looking clock. You know, the digital clock. And on the clock was 10 minutes. But then it started to go down. 9.59. It just started to go down. Like, was the clock down? And I thought to myself, 10 minutes. Okay. Well, either A, something's happening tomorrow, 10 minutes, the 10th, or something's happening in 10 days. Let's think this through. How many days is that? Oh, wouldn't you know? That's the 20th. Here we are with that number again. Third time's the charm, I think. We're going to remind you of this again. Protest, civil disobedience, civil war, fever pitch words. Trump, hold on to power. In 20, a disastrous moment, bloody, short, a nation torn, the leadership begins to fall and fall quickly. From cruel words, from cruel verbiage, back and forth, violence becomes the new way. Now, at the same time, which I'm assuming will come first, because here's another message. I'm now watching TV. Totally separate day. I'm watching TV, watching the news. I always have to watch the news to get these world predictions. I have little Nerf balls that I throw at the TV every time one of the leaders upset me. Um, and so I'm watching Trump on the news, and he's talking, and then he says something to the effect of he's going to gut the CIA. He's giving checks to people in the CIA to quit their jobs. Marcus, like Tweety Bird, comes floating around me. 20. I was like, really? Of course. So let's present that prediction, also with the 20. There is a threat to the United States. Clear and present danger. Bombing. I had a visual of the number 7. Big, bold, and then afterwards the number 20 minutes. Later Spirit wrote 9, then 11, as if to compare the two. I had a visual bomb going off in a building. There was a massive smoke coming from all directions. A huge reference to the size of the bomb. And then the Spirit wrote 20. In this prediction, the implication, when I watched the prediction, it really did look like the Empire State Building. It had that little thing on the top there. So I don't know. There's so many big buildings in New York. We only had a second to look at it, but one of the buildings was clearly engulfed. Okay. We're getting closer. I need to verify that in 10 minutes there's going to be an attack. Now, that would be one epic coincidence if there's 2 separate attacks on the 20th. But I will verify what exactly they're talking about. But it's kind of obvious to me they're starting to count it down now. A new prediction. Another prediction here. This is the prediction that we lost on that last one. We tried to make a video a couple of days ago, and then the electrical storm came, and I lost everybody. So let's redo it real quick, shall we? I had a vision with a bottle tied. True story. The bottle tied had the spout here. The spout was shooting water. Psh, 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 psh. Endlessly shooting water. Okay? The spirits and I use these props because we all have to take turns, Diana, I, and Mika, to watch these horrible events. You know, I watched Hurricane Milton. I was up in the sky. I'm like watching this storm just whoosh, right? We don't want to watch that. That's horrible. So we take turns. It's Mika's turn, and he's telling me a tide is about to consume an entire area. I mean, it will be ravishing, and it has to be ravishing enough to where he don't want to show me. He's just saying, you don't want to see that. But I have no idea what he means. There's a tied bottle and a spout coming out. And we're going to pause there and ask you, what do you think it means? If the tide represents, we're making this interactive, people. If the tide represents an entire tide consuming something, then what would a little spouting water be? Oil spill, yeah, that was my first thought, was an oil spill. And an oil spill would definitely fit with what I'm going to tell you next, because it could go that way. Any other guesses? You can pretty much go with the oil spill and the 2 other possibilities that come to mind. A dam bursting, but it doesn't really fit. A tsunami would be a big tide, right? They would just have the bottle up tight. The last tsunami we had, which was an Indonesian tsunami, Diana presented 3 bottles. And then we all decided we had to go look. You know, this is our little spout coming up. So, what you guys tsunami oil spill? So, what I do is, because I don't understand it, I decide I'm going to go look anyway, even though that's kind of against the rules. I'm bending. Not breaking, I'm bending. But Mika is already, he already knows. He's got that Spock side of him. You know, he knows I'm going to try and cheat. He already knows what I'm going to do. So by the time I get there, there's nothing but a cascade of water. Just water. Right? And you could feel it. Something sank. Something just was consumed by the ocean. Like you could feel it just sinking. You could hear this, you know, and it was just this depths. Now, it is my job at this point to zip over to whatever the landmass is closest. I'm just going to zip and say, okay, where am I? And figure out where I'm at. That's the way we understand. Where are we? Where are we? We clearly can't figure out where we're at when we're in the middle of the ocean. You know what I mean? So we need to zip over there. We have a second's time to figure out where they're at. But before that happens, he grabs me by the throat. And I'm like, what are you doing, Mika? You know, and he says, no. And I tasted it. Ever for a second, I tasted, they're being tortured over there. Starved. And this is the landmass, which I'm assuming is controlled by Russia. It's not Ukraine. This is Russian land here now, or what they conquered anyway. And I'm assuming it's Russia. We'll get to that point in a second. But seriously, somebody's being tortured. Somebody's being violated. People are in the woods, starving. You know, somebody needs to check in that area. Somebody needs to check. Hey, what is going on here? Right? What is happening? So that's the other prediction. But the core tenement of my prediction in this is a ship is set to sink. Very soon. And we're testing to see how close we can get to, literally, what is 9 today. So we'll see. We'll see. We're not expecting it on the night. We're expecting it around the night, but we'll see what happens. And then the plan is to recalibrate and see, okay, well, are we going to now predict and say between the 9th and the 10th on this week? You know, things of that caliber. We're in this state where we're calibrating. I'm not sure if I shared this with you guys last time or not. But 2 things are set to unfold within a not-so-distant future. Number 1, there's going to be an invention where it's a latch. And this latch goes into our vehicles, and it cuts down the gasoline by half. Half! Helping so many of us economically and helping with the environment, right? But any country where gasoline is the economics, you lost half your money. Okay? Just an FYI. We are expecting that probably, that one's not coming soon. That one's probably going to fall into the following century. Okay? No. The following, closer to the end of this century. Okay? But it leads to those particular countries that solely run their systems on gasoline, like Saudi Arabia, somewhat Russia to a certain extent, and sort of saying, listen, this isn't going to work anymore. You really do need to find another space to operate. The problem with that is most of these companies that's all they do is oil. So they're going to have to figure it out. That's another prediction. What was the other message? I think we are done with the predictions. I wanted to share this divine truth, and then if we have time, we'll talk about those bad people. Divine truth. Do you remember your loved ones in your previous life? Or when you cross over, when you die, do you remember your loved ones? What do you think? Do you remember your loved ones when you pass away? Come on, guys, give me an answer. You got one yes? Yes? Yes, most of you say yes. Okay. My aunt asked me this question. I said, are you going to remember B when you pass away? And I looked at her and I said, kind of. Here's the answer to the question. That page. That's you. This whole life, this could come out to one page. One. That's it. But you are a book. And there was a whole bunch of pages before. And there's a whole bunch of pages afterwards. It doesn't stop. So, when you die, you're not entirely remembering one page. You're remembering the book in its entirety. Leigh-Pink was my mother. No question behind that. We all know I adored the woman. But would it be surprising to you that our first relationship in the cosmos, in the spiritual realm, we were adversaries? Right? Like, you would never in a million years think that. But historically speaking, according to this book that I went through, we had that experience. It's how we started off, and then we became like, it's very Rocky Balboa and Clubber Lang, you know, like this almost like kind of working together as a team, watching each other. But all of that sort of computes, all of that means something. It melds us together as one, right? So I wanted to kind of put that out there. Yes, time was 1,000, you remember them. It's not just yes. You have a history here with these, whoever you're talking about, you have a history with them. So I would respond by saying the history is going to be different. But outside of that, understand when you pass, there is an enormous memory that now comes into being. I also want to talk, let's see if we have enough time. We're going to get started on the devil's plan, and then we'll circle back around. I explained to you in the last video the directives that our Creator and the heavens give us to help guide and direct us into different directions and give us learning experiences. Then there is the devil's plan. And I have to be honest with you, it's pretty mundane. Let's go back to the 1980s, shall we? In the 1980s, there was a virus. Now, as soon as they have the virus, the darkness will then turn around and propagate fear, lies. Just pushing it out, like boo-boo, lie, fear. And wow, the 1980s delivered lots of fear. Right after the virus, or perhaps during it, war comes next. And in the 1990s, wow, 16 wars? I think that was in the history. 16 different wars. Woo! So we have the war now. But war leads to rage. And so what comes next? 2001. Terrorism. So this is the reign of the darkness. They want this. They're putting it in order. Tell me that doesn't sound like anything, guys. We're putting it in order, right? Now, it's at this space here that they want to light the match. They want to strike it. And they've done it before. Go backward. Go backward. It was called consumption of the 1800s. It was probably one of the worst of the worst. I mean, wow, did that thing last for a long time. You had the Civil War after consumption, but more importantly was a rising imperialistic world. Right? So consumption, again war. This time the terrorists were called the Black Hand. And the Black Hand set off World War I. So that is their consistent plan. Virus, war, terrorism, blow it all up. Right? That's what they've been consistently working on over and over and over. It's like, oh, well, you guys get an imagination for once. But the plan works, so they keep doing it. Now, it's almost like we were upstairs. Like, Betty, did you hear? Did you hear? They added something to the plan. They did. Somebody got an imagination downstairs. According to the spiritual realm, they gave directives. They told their monstrous horde, convince the humans to be arrogantly invasive. Arrogantly invasive. Think about it. Arrogantly invasive. Think of, let's start with the top of the list. War. Ukraine. Okay, Putin thinking he's going to go into Ukraine. Arrogantly and invasively. Netanyahu thinking he can have that land. Arrogance and invasive. Donald Trump saying we're just going to move everybody out of there, we'll get in there. Again, speaking from a tongue of arrogance. And again, we're invading. But let's step back to a more basic tongue. Because when you're on Twitter, or when you're on Facebook, or when you're on all these things, you too are typing in little words, being arrogantly invasive. Not all of you, but some of you, the trolls specifically, arrogantly invasive. The fact that our ships can go, the United States ships can go over there in the area of China, but China's ships can't come over here, arrogantly invasive. All of these acts are perpetuating a moment. They are setting a stage. The more arrogantly invasive we can become, the more easier it will be to categorize us, to put us into boxes, to separate us. Any question of that, recognize it. Recognize it. The problem used to be black and white. Right? Go back a couple of decades. Black and white was the problem. But it's not anymore, is it? It's black, white, blue, red. You keep adding, don't you, humanity? And you just keep doing it. We need a bathroom for this. We need this for that. We need this for that. We need this for that. Because we trust no one. Really? So this is the direction they are creating for you. You're not doing it. You're just kind of controlled by this force that is making you do these things. It's very simple. And so, I say to you, defy it. Stop being arrogant. That alone, get rid of it. Stop it. And nothing sells arrogantly invasive like woke does. Woke is the epitome of it. All of these things we have to step back from to quell the moment. The plan is to categorize you. Once you have been categorized, once you have been subjected, once you're now just in your group and you really have no idea what's going on outside, then they're going to push the hate button. They're going to make sure you hate each other, hate each other, hate each other, hate each other, hate each other. Can we have that spark? Wars are over, terrorism will rise. Now we need that spark. So that's their plan. Not to worry. There's another plan. Because heaven has their own plan. And I gotta say, heaven's plan has got a lot of class. But that's a story for another day. Okay, let's see, is that it? Yeah, that's it. We hit the mark. Woohoo. Questions, guys? Let's see here. Uh-oh. Could the landmass be Guantanamo Bay? Guantanamo Bay, I need that too. That's horrible what he's doing with that Guantanamo Bay. Brilliant reading today. Oh, thank you. Thank you for complimenting my reading. How long will Trump be in office? Yeah, that was that new prediction, right? Here's the thing. Let's talk about Trump. I'll just put it out there. Why not? Mika comes back. He says, Eric, we have all these Trump predictions. These old Trump predictions. And I was looking at them, right? And I literally took them and I threw them. I said, that would have been nice to know during the elections. Oh. And so Mika's like, whatever, And then Diana comes over with wine. Like, do you want some wine while you're picking that up? Let's go over this. One of the predictions say, how long will Trump be in office? And it says 12 months. That's what it says. 12 months. Now, this can be interpreted two different ways. One, somebody pointed it out. Somebody said this. Well, technically, it's been 12 years. If he stays full term, it would be 12 years. So that's something. Okay? But ideally, with the months, they are saying 12, as in December. So something happens in December that puts it in question. Okay? There's another prediction where he gets sick. He ends up in a hospital. He falls ill. I don't think that's permanent. I think that's a temporary situation. There's another prediction where he pushes it too far and boxes himself in. Red box, red box, red box. The prediction coming around the corner is, with Trump, is, I don't know, I guess Putin was expecting Trump to be on his side. I guess Putin was expecting Trump to just fold. But Trump really is looking at the transactional aspect of the gains that Ukraine can kind of offer financially. He's looking at the dollars. And so there is this almost like which way to go. Now, if Trump sides with Ukraine, there is a prediction that very loudly says Putin just goes after Trump. Like, he humiliates him, he sends out scandals, he has this information about Trump, he gives this information about Trump. It's one thing after another thing after another thing. And I just want to say, for both the blue side and the red side, fever pitch of whatever Trump did in this moment, keep in mind Vladimir Putin gave it to us. Nobody believes that putz. Okay, I'm upset. So there's that prediction, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, my God, there's a lot of them. What was the other one? War. Yeah, flat out says, Trump goes to war. And I'm like, what? So all of these things are there. There's another one, a big one. The biggest one that never happened was during hurricane season. And there was this horrible thing where it was like a total mess of a hurricane. Nobody could get a hold of FEMA. Nobody could get a hold of anyone. And everybody was being rude to each other. The leaders were being rude to the people that were suffering. It was just like, whoa! So expect that this summer. Expect it to be chaotic as it goes for getting help from hurricanes. That's a lot of predictions. Am I missing any? Yeah, this is where it gets shady for me. Because I don't know. Should I be putting a prediction out there that I don't have proof on and slandering a person's name? You know what I mean? I don't know. But I'll put this out there. According to the spiritual realm, there's money being exchanged behind the scenes, backdoor deals. So just an FYI. Lots of money are being exchanged, and they ain't going to our government. Okay, any other questions? Eric was in the prediction, the actual prediction says, how long is Trump president? And they say 12 months. They said it like that, 12 months. So either A, they're missing the S, but the most likely scenario is they're predicting December for some reason. They're predicting this the end of the year. So that's what I would say. Yeah. Something happens. Something clearly happens to the president. I think he just gets sick, to be honest with you. There's one prediction where he gets sick, but there's another prediction. Dare I say it? Oh, say it out loud. Should I shut my mouth and say it? Where he quits. Like we ever see that one coming, really. No, there's 3 different predictions. One says he throws in the towel. That one never happened. The next one says he resigns. That one never happened. The third one talks about his picture being torn and then he walks away. So I think that would fit if he got sick, right? If he did get sick, yeah, okay, you're throwing in the towel at that point, right? So yeah. No money exchange. In the old predictions, it was very strange because the old prediction very loudly said Donald Trump did not collude with the Russian government. It said that. But then, later on, and a couple of years later, it said, Donald Trump is taking money from the oligarchs. And I thought to myself, you told me over there that he wasn't taking any money. You need to make up your mind. And he just looked at me and said, whatever, Eric. And it never crossed my mind that there would be 2 different timelines, you know what I mean? So some sort of money thing is going on, but I don't get it. Then why turn on Putin if he's taking the money? Okay. I don't know if J.D. Vance will be president for the next 3 years. Unfortunately, right now, Eric Leigh-Pink's scope is pointed down, so I could see very accurately the now, getting closer to the now. So I can't really see what's a lot of the things happening later. I'm not discounting Mr. Vance as the military man. The only problem I have with that is he doesn't seem very unifying, but I don't know Mr. Vance to make that assessment. The military man is a gunslinger. He's somebody that comes out shooting. He's somebody that doesn't want to answer to anybody else's way. He answers to only his way. Very Reaganist kind of figure. He's like, I'm going to do it my way. Sorry. Oh, you don't like it? Oh, too bad. So he has both a yin and yang. But like Churchill, it's somebody needed for the moment, I guess is what I would say. After Trump gets sick, the military one comes in. I would question that. I don't know if that's the way it plays out because in the prediction it says he gets better. So does he get better and then quit or does he get better and go back to president? I'm not sure. And then on top of that, there's this completely separate prediction that actually flat out says the vice president will take over for a good chunk of time, and then the president comes back. So, Any other questions, everybody? I can sit here all day listening to all. Thank you. I can sit here all day listening to all this. No, it's going to be cool. We're going to now, just to give you, I actually want to put this out there. I do. I very much want to share all of this part with you guys. Okay? Because here's what we figured out. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the social media guys, right? All this time we've been telling you guys, please share our work so we can make a difference. Okay? Unbeknownst to Eric Leigh-Pink, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of them have been putting my work under the radar. So, in the last 6 months, we ran 3 campaigns. The first one was to promote the next January 6th attack. This is the one we just talked about here, those 2 predictions. To which, and we paid for this campaign, Instagram said no. Tumblr said no. And Facebook shut me down. I mean, it put me in jail the whole 9 years. So what? Now, then we got together, and right before Hurricane Francine, we promoted that prediction. It wasn't that, I don't know, guys. Am I missing something? I didn't think it was that big of a prediction, but okay. Hurricane Francine, Hurricane Milton, Hurricane Helene, and something's going on in Korea over there. Now, we promoted that. They let us promote that because it was weather. And it exploded. I mean, 30,000 people saw that thing. I was like, wow. So there's a big push now to, okay, we're going to still give our predictions about, these nightmares that are coming. But I'm telling all you, my fans, right now, if there's a big weather event, we are putting all the money in. I mean, if we can promote it largely with the weather, let them come and see the other stuff. You know what I mean? And so there's a big push to go into that direction, but there's an even bigger push to go into a direction where we're predicting rapidly. We need to get to this space where you can see it just as I'm talking to you about it. Okay. I got Blue Sky. Yes. Thank you for pointing that out. Who's on Blue Sky? You guys got to join me on Blue Sky. I'm a little bit lonely on the Blue Sky, people. I'm still trying to figure out Blue Sky. That plopped up. So please join me on Blue Sky. Because I'm a little bit lost with it. I've been playing with it, and I'm like, I don't understand this Blue Sky. But thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Any other questions, guys? We have the Blue Sky. I hope you guys join me on Blue Sky. Seriously, check out the page on Blue Sky. One of the mistakes I made with these social medias, I got sloppy. With Blue Sky, I want to make sure everything's perfectly set, and I want to start from the beginning, make it look really nice. That way I can really promote it. Okay, I hope to see you guys on Blue Sky. And with that note, I thank you very much. We did it! 5:30, woohoo! Diana will be pleased. Okay, have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.